At some point during a sale, you may encounter a sales objection. A sales objection is an explicit expression by a buyer that a barrier exists between the current situation and what needs to be satisfied before buying from you. In other words, you have to handle these objections or objections if you want to close the deal. In this video, we will see how to handle all objections with exception of price objections, which are so important that they will need to be discussed in a separate video. Many sales professionals fear objections, and most fail to properly handle them. Usually, the sales professional will consider an objection as a personal attack or a standard excuse for not buying. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Sales objections are often a good thing because it shows that your prospect has a certain level of interest in what you are selling. It also indicates that they are thinking of buying. You have to welcome sales objections. They are a good thing. But also, you have to handle them well. As I mentioned earlier, they are a barrier that stops you from closing. I will share with you 2 techniques to handle any objection coming your way. First of all, the best way to handle objections is to prepare your answers in advance. More than 80% of the objections are fairly predictable. You already know what prospects will say before you meet them. So prepare your answers before meeting them. In the resource section of this video, you will find a simple table that will help you to prepare these answers. The first technique is called WATO. WATO is short for welcome, acknowledge, discover, and overcome. It is a simple 4-step technique to handle objections like a pro. The first step in the WATO technique is to welcome the objection. It is basically to say thank you to your prospect for raising a concern. Are you out of your mind? Why should we welcome something that stops us from closing? The reason is simple: respect and trust once again. Our trusted advisor approach is to show to our prospects that we are here to help them, to solve their problems, and make a better future for them. So objections are a fair part of this process. It is actually a really important part to keep understanding their challenges and their mindset. No matter how deep your analysis or consultation was, your prospect may have neglected to inform you about something important. So objections will help you to keep on track and make sure that your solution is suitable for them. Welcoming an objection also shows to your prospect that you are open to discussions, that you are still a trusted advisor and not just a stereotypical salesperson. Thanking them also makes them feel that they have a point, that their opinion matters. You make your prospects feel comfortable to ask for more. So a simple "thank you very much for your comment" or "that's a really good point, thank you for bringing that up" will do the trick. The second step of the WATO technique is called acknowledge. You have to acknowledge what they have just said. Basically, repeat almost word for word their objection. This technique is used to clarify the objection. Make sure that you have understood it properly. Also, by repeating your prospect's own words, you make him or her to give you more details, or if necessary, to correct it. Acknowledging it also shows that you are still listening to them and not lost into your own sales pitch. So you could say something like, "If I understood correctly, you are saying ABC. Just to make sure that I have that right, you are concerned about ABC." The third step is called discover. This is the most important step in the process. Before handling this objection, we need to fully understand the situation. Some objections from your prospects are quite short, such as, "I don't think your product will be easily implemented," or maybe, "We are not ready to digitalize our supply chain." it does not tell you much really. So you must find out the reasons why they're thinking that way. For example, if your prospect tells you, I don't think your product could be easily implemented, you could ask, what makes you say that? And find out that actually your prospect is concerned about one specific user who is not familiar with computers. You have discovered the real reason of the objection, and you are now able to properly handle it. If you do not dig a little bit deeper, you are taking the risk of making assumptions about what you believe the problem is, and not what the real problem is. So during this stage, ask for more explanation, such as, what makes you feel that way? Could you tell me a little bit more about that? The fourth step of the what technique is overcome. Now that you have the full picture, it is time to overcome and handle the objection. The good news is you may have already prepared the correct answer for this. I recommend you overcome the objection in the most concise way possible without launching into a new long-winded sales pitch. Here's an example on how to use the what technique.
I don't think your product can be easily implemented.
Thank you for raising this concern. Let me just confirm your concern. What you are saying is that you are not sure that our product can be easily implemented. Do I have that right?
Yes, that's right.
I see. May I ask you what makes you feel that way?
Well, actually one of our managers is quite senior, and I am not sure he will be able to use your computer interface to operate the product.
This is a really good point. I may have forgotten to tell you that we also offer personalized training to help your users to be able to operate the product with our computer interface. We have a lot of experience in training senior users who may struggle with computers. The what technique will help you to handle any kind of objections by focusing on your prospects' expectations and needs. And also, it will keep your image of a professional, trusted advisor. There is a second technique that may help you to handle unexpected objections that you do not have an answer for. It is called the feel, felt, found. So when you have an unexpected objection, you can say something like, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but this is what I find out. Let me use this technique with the previous example. I don't think your product can be easily implemented. If you have not prepared your standard answer, this is how you could handle this objection. I know how you feel about that. Many of our previous clients have felt the same way. But what they found out was the system is easier to use than it seems. The feel, felt, found is a handy technique to show that you understand how they feel, that other people before them have felt the same way, and that at the end, everything was fine. It is a simple and useful technique to keep in mind when things get tough. But what happens when you are unable to find an answer to their objections? This may happen to you, for example, if what you have to sell is technical, and that you need someone else to be able to answer their question or comment. An easy way out is by using the following line. In order for me to give you the complete answer, I will need to check with my team back at the office. Will it be okay if I give you the answer tomorrow morning or at the end of today? If you use this line, make sure you come back to them with the answer in due time. You are now ready to handle any sales objection that you face.